So welcome friends, how are you all friends? Let's see what if Naruto was father of Mutant Messiah movie. It has been months since the whole House of M event and the whole battle with Bastion lots have changed. Since then new mutants have started being born, even the original leader Charles Xavier has returned, but nothing has gone back to normal, with Cyclops and Emma taking charge of the X-Men, making Charles more of an advisor. But the X-Men has gotten new mutants, most notably Hope Summers, who's the adopted daughter of Cable and the Messiah mutant. The young girl has gotten close to Charles Xavier, seeing the man who can help her understand her powers and actually treating her like a real person. Which she was thankful for, but Wolverine and Storm has also treated her like a normal person, well, normal mutant. She even became friends with the vampire Jubilee. She could honestly say she liked Jubilee's friendship grew most, but out of everyone in the X-Mansion she didn't like Emma due to the point telepath believing she's better than had told her not to take it personal, since Emma is like that with everyone except for Scott, who she loves. Hope had took Charles' advice to heart. She knew Emma didn't hate her, Emma just saw her being someone not on her level, even though she's an Omega level mutant just like Emma and her adopted father. But today her, Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus, Beast, Storm, and Emma are inside Cerebro. Sitting in the chair is none other than Charles Xavier wearing the helmet. The man has serious look with sweat coming down from his forehead. Wolverine, who has cigar in his mouth, blows out smoke and looks at Charles with concern. Charles, you alright? Asked Wolverine, wondering what could have Charles start sweating. He could also tell that the male telepath is over something. Charles wipes the sweat from his forehead. He glances at Wolverine, but more importantly the cigar that the former Weapon X mutant is using. Charles lets out a soft sigh. First Logan, I thought I told you not to smoke those things in here or it'll turn your healing brain into mush. Asked Charles. He didn't really mind Wolverine smoking cigars in the mansion, but he didn't want Cerebro to smell like cigars. Sorry Charles, my bad, said Wolverine as he looks somewhere to put his cigar out. He then looks down at his hand. Just as before he could put the cigar out on his hand, Storm grabs onto Wolverine's arm. He looks up at Storm, giving her a questionable stare. What is it, Aurora? Asked Wolverine, looking up at Storm. Storm looks at Wolverine with a caring expression. Will you please not use your hand as an ashtray? Asked Storm, as she did not want to watch her teammate harm himself, even though he can heal from nearly anything. Wolverine nods his head. Storm smiles at this and uses her power of the weather to create a strong breeze to blow out the cigar. Wolverine puts his cigar away. Beast cough in his hand is entertaining, as that was his watching an intellectual fight between Reed Richards and Black Panther. I believe the professor has something important to tell us. I suggest we listen to the professor, said Beast, breaking the tension between Wolverine and Storm. The intelligent mutant knew the tension between the two wasn't anything intimate, but the furry mutant had a feeling it was something that needed their attention. Charles Xavier thanked Beast for stopping the conversation between Wolverine and Storm. Now he can tell the X-Men why he actually called them here. Thank you Hank, now I must tell you why you're here, said Charles. Does this involve the increase in mutants that has been happening around the world, Professor? Asked Colossus, who's in his organic form, since there's no reason to be in his metal organic form. Emma narrows her eyes. There's been another mutant sighted, hasn't there, Charles? Asked Emma, narrowing her blue eyes at the elder telepath. Charles nods his head. Yes, I have, but only for a moment. This person's mind is strongly guarded, but I was to get a read on where this new mutant might be, but from what I can tell he's cautious and seems to be agitated. I also sense a slight trace of willingness, said Charles, thus confusing the X-Men except Emma, who already started to understand the situation with this mysterious mutant. This person has been a mutant for a while, I guess, stated Emma. Charles nods yes, head yes, said Charles. Professor, if I may, where exactly is this mutant? From what I can tell this mutant has used his power strong enough to make you sweat, but my question is what could make this mutant to release so much power? Asked Beast in concern. Charles wiped more sweat from his face. Hank is right. Whatever that caused this mutant to let itself must be in danger. But from what I can piece together, I saw the mutant facing sentinels in the hand. I've been able to read the mind of a member of the head. Their mission is to brainwash the mutant and have him capture other Omega level mutants, and from what I can read from the mind of the ninja is that they are at Berkeley, San Francisco. I want you to save this mutant from the hand, said Charles. X-Men looked in shocked, but more so than Wolverine since he's been under their control. Cyclops nods his head. Let's go everyone. We can't get their hands on this mutant. Who knows what they'll make this person do, whatever cruel twisted plot the hand is plotting, ordered Cyclops, not wanting this mutant to be used as a weapon. Wolverine grins. So we fighting ninjas and robots this time, sounds like fun, grinned Wolverine, popping out his adamantium claws through his hands. Everyone shook their negativity at the short but violent Canadian mutant. Location: Berkeley, San Francisco. The Hand is an order of evil mystical ninjas who are heavily involved in organized crime and mercenary activities such as assassination plots. The Hand covets power above all other objectives. They are primarily based in Japan, but operate internationally. They were founded in 1588 as a secret society of Japanese nationalist samurai but were soon co-opted by the Snakeroot, an ancient ninja clan which serves a primordial demon known only as the Beast. Members of the Hand are practitioners of powerful occult magic and can murder a person and bring that person back to life as a servant of the Hand, but a few are known to have reversed this programming. Within the city of Berkeley is being destroyed, houses being blown up, streets being destroyed. Hundreds of people are being killed either by accident or simply they are in the wrong at the time. But no, this beautiful city isn't being run over by a group of terrorists. No, this city has become a battleground with members of the Hand in reprogrammed Sentinels that have the appearance between a Sentinel and Ultron, giving the machines a very sinister and dark appearance. The Sentinels have been reprogrammed and rebuilt with the schematics of the various of Ultron bots and Sentinels bots over the years. The machines and the Hand are chasing a Japanese male who's 64 and around the age of 17. The Japanese male has tan skin on both sides of his face. He has 6 scar birthmarks across his cheeks that looks like whiskers. The Japanese man has blonde spiky hair and ocean blue eyes. The teen is wearing a white shirt that has the Gucci symbol on the back of the shirt is the kanji for Gucci, Gucci. He wears black faded torn jeans, and white and blue 80s, 90s vintage Nike Terminator high shoes. This teenager is Naruto Uzumaki, the Omega level mutant that Charles had detected. Naruto didn't know how him walking around town listening to music turned to him being chased by robots and ninjas. The blonde knew he was a mutant. After all, he awoke in his mutation at the age of 5, so he was aware of the people wanting him dead or wanting to control him because of his powers. Naruto was careful enough not to use too much of his powers to gain the attention of the superhero or supervillain community. He hid his powers not because he's ashamed of his powers, no, he loves having powers and parents haven't forsaken him for having the amazing gifts. But he didn't want to have his family involved with the superhero or supervillain community. Hell, Naruto honestly doesn't even care he's a mutant. He doesn't see himself as being another race, he simply sees himself as a metahuman, who was born with powers. He doesn't see the difference between mutants, humans, or metahumans, since his father Minato Namikaze, who's the mayor, his father used to be a commissioner of Japan and a former general of the Japanese army, had always told him to never judge a person on their appearance but only when you've got to know that person. While his mother Kushina Uzumaki, who's a scholar and studied at Harvard for biogenetics, cooking, and biotechnology, who has told him to never allow others' ignorance to blind your way of thinking. It also helps that both are intelligent, educated, this preventing Naruto from being ignorant like most people. Instead, he's very intelligent for his age. Naruto lets out a snarl as 2 ninjas trap his arms with chain kunai shit. I guess I have no choice to fight, cursed Naruto. He then wraps his hand around his chains and allows a smirk to appear. Yak, now you've picked the wrong person to fuck with. Since you bastards obviously are trying to capture me, I guess I should tell you why I've hid my powers since I was 5. You see, with my mutation it gives me dinosaur physiology, demon physiology, esoteric element manipulation, celestial manipulation, transcendent machine physiology, and fossil manipulation. And you know what I've learned to control each of my powers, grinned Naruto as he pulled back his arms, causing the 2 ninjas to fly towards the blonde mutant. Naruto holds both of the ninjas' face with the strength of a dinosaur, and Demon Naruto slams the 2 ninjas into the ground. He then uses his demon physiology, granting him demonic wings, avoiding the energy blast from a sentinel. It's good thing they don't know about my powers. With my demon physiology I can transform into a demon, an evil spirit, fallen angel or satanic divinity. Most commonly I retains their general form but with some additions. Horns, claws, fangs and tail are common, as are wings, more fit body and color change. But there are several kinds of demons who are far less humanoid, varying from strange, surreal or even absolutely horrific, such as physically, spiritual, and eternal demon. With my dinosaur physiology I can use the trait of any dinosaur. With my esoteric element manipulation I can manipulate the esoteric side of the elements of nature. Esoteric element manipulation allows me to control elements that possess special properties. This gives me the opportunity to use the elements in a variety of ways, such as physical combat or defensive purposes. I can also gain powers from other external forces of different elements. With celestial manipulation I can create, shape and manipulate the skies and cosmos with heavenly influence, including all the aspects of the astrological, divine, elemental, mythical and cosmic powers. My transcendent machine physiology grants me the ability to be able to become or create a machine, robot, or techno-organic being of incredible power, possessing a wide array of intelligence, abilities, and powers far beyond that of the average creature or machine. And then there's my fossil manipulation, which I can create, shape and manipulate fossils. The preserved remains are traces of animals, plants, and other organisms from the remote past, thought Naruto as he blasts a sentinel with a ball of celestial ball. He then flies down and the wings go back into his body. He narrows his eyes at the machine. So these machines were built of the blueprints of Ultron and the Sentinels. Interesting. He then grins widely, showing off his fangs. He then uses his powers to rip and morph the machines into a cybernetic organic Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and a humanoid machine. He looks like a combination of Silver Samurai and Destroyer from Thor the movie. Each member of the hand looks on it shocked, not accepting the young Japanese blonde to basically rip the Sentinels apart and reforming them into something else. They never seen someone basically alter a machine and transforming it into something else. What the hell? Yelled a ninja. I don't believe it. He ripped them apart and reformed them into something else internally. Yelled a ninja who's shocked what he had just saw. This power, it could even be greater than Magneto's power, exclaimed an astonished female ninja. A ninja narrows their eyes at the ninja. We must capture the mutant, declared a ninja pulling out a bow staff. A sentinel eyes lit up. Mutant target, mutant level, high, omega level, threat level high, said a sentinel analyzing Naruto. Mission report. Capture mutant for the hand, said another sentinel. Naruto with his hands encased in gold esoteric fire. You can try Tinman, taunted Naruto. He then uses his power over machine to turn the cybernetic organic Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and robot. Each of the machine's eyes glowed purple. Triceratops online, said the cybernetic Triceratops. Titanus online, ready for battle, said the Brachiosaurus. The machine Ankylosaurus roared and slammed its spiked tail. Weapons online, systems ready, Anklotrix ready, said Anklotrix as two machine guns comes out from its shoulders. The humanoid machine raises both of his arms and two cannons come out from its wrist while its eyes glowed purple. Avacron ready for battle, standing by for orders, said Avacron. Now, let me rephrase a line from a movie that I love, Slice and Dice. Triceratops, Titanus, Anklotrix, and Avacron. Kill, ordered Naruto. The four machine charged at the hand and sentinels. While each of the machines went off attacking their own group of enemies, Naruto jumps in the air and slams his hands on the ground, creating a golden fire shockwave. The supernatural heat is intense. It burns the ninjas and robots to ash. Members of the hand attempt to drop from the sky and shooting bow and arrows. Naruto raises his hand and fires multiple of celestial beams from his fingertips with precise control. Each beams go through each of the ninjas' heart, killing the 20 ninjas from above. A ninja sneaks up behind him and stabs Naruto through the back, but the sword shatters in pieces when coming in contact with the blonde's back. Naruto turns around and grabs the man by the neck. He narrows his eyes as the sentinel starts firing its energy blast. Naruto with quick reflexes throws the man at the machine. The sentinel vaporizes the man, but the energy blast is blocked by the red water barrier around Naruto. Naruto's skin is then transformed into metal organic. The metal is silver blue. Naruto creates boosters from his back and literally punches the head off of the sentinel. A couple other sentinels charges at Naruto. It's time to end these piles of scrap, said Naruto as his hands are covered in emerald-colored lightning. He then raises his hands above his head and claps his hands, sending an EMP targeting the sentinels. Every single of the sentinels power down, falling to the ground before the rest of the 30 ninjas can do anything. Naruto's robots blast them with various energy blast. Triceratops walks towards Naruto. It fires lasers from its eyes, killing the last of the ninja who was behind Naruto. All targets eliminated, said Triceratops, but before either can celebrate, the X-Jet arrives. Triceratops scans the jet. Humans located. Human level. Mutants, threat level, high, said Triceratops. Naruto cursed under his breath. He looks around, noticing the city being turned into ground zero. Just great, the X-Men. I could kill them, but that would cause problems. Well, it's a good thing it isn't someone like Magneto, Sebastian Shaw, or Apocalypse, said Naruto. Even though he was a teenager, he was aware of the superheroes and supervillains. It also helped that he was intelligent. Naruto is so intelligent that he's able to find out the secret identity of Spider-Man and various of heroes who wears a mask. He once took IQ test and he found out his IQ is 327. As the jet flies down, Cyclops, Kitty, Emma, Rogue, Storm, Beast, Wolverine, Hope, and Colossus comes out of the jet. Each of the mutants had a shocked expression. My word, said Beast. Oh God, said Kitty with a hand over her mouth. What the fuck happened here? Exclaimed Cyclops. My lord, said Storm as she stares at the various dead bodies. I don't believe it, exclaimed a shocked Emma. Logan, I think he just outkilled you, said a shocked Rogue. This isn't right, stated Colossus as he stares at the bodies. Wolverine smirks. Well, ill be damned, said Wolverine, staring at the machines around Naruto, who's still in his techno-organic form. He did all this, asked Hope, but it was more of a statement. Naruto turns off his techno-organic skin. Damn it. Damn those ninjas, it's their fault I am caught in this situation. I only let my guard down only a few seconds. Charles Xavier was able to detect me, thought Naruto in anger as his long time hiding his powers is now Naruto glares at the X-Men. Cyclops glares back, but thanks to his visor Naruto couldn't see his eyes. Emma raises her eyes in curiosity. She then attempts to read his mind but finds out she's unable to read the teenager's mind. Naruto focuses his glare on Emma. Playboy bunny. Stop trying to read my mind, demanded Naruto. Emma gains a tick mark. What did you call me? Asked Emma as she narrows her eyes. You heard me. I guess the X-Men allows porn stars into their ranks. I mean, look at you. You look like one of the hoes that Iron Man would mess with. Insulted Naruto. Wolverine laughs at the blonde's joke. Cyclops steps up, taking role of leader. Who are you and who did this? Demanded Cyclops. Naruto turns around and deactivates his machines. Each of the machine's size changed into a size of a toy. Cyclops, not liking to be ignored, easily loses his temper. I said, who are you? Yelled Cyclops, but Naruto kept walking away. Beast massages his chin. It seems like the young mutant doesn't want to speak with us, said Beast. Cyclops turned to Emma. Emma, try to read his mind, said Cyclops. Emma nods her head to read the young mutant's mind. Naruto narrows his blue eyes at Emma. I thought I told you stay out of my head, snarled Naruto. How can you block me out? Asked Emma, looking at Naruto in curiosity but also in some astonishment since she's a stronger telepath than Charles. I have a strong mind. I've learned to block out other telepaths out, but sadly I wasn't able to prevent Charles Xavier from reading my mind. Even though it was only a few minutes, it was still enough for that telepath, said Naruto with his arms crossed. He then turns to Cyclops. And to your questions, who I am is none of your concern. But I was the one who killed these ninjas, said Naruto. If you know who we are, then you know what you are then, right? Asked Cyclops. Yes, I know who you are, the X-Men, and yes, I know I am a mutant, but as you can see, I know how to use my powers, said Naruto, transforming his right hand into the hand of an iguanodon while turning his left hand into a demon white scaly hand that has spikes coming out of his knuckles. If you know how to use your powers, then why not use your powers to save and to prove to the humans we aren't as dangerous as they believe, said Beast. Naruto just scoffed at Beast. Why the hell would I do that? Asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Storm narrows her eyes at Naruto, not understanding why the blonde wouldn't want to help other mutants. Why would you not want to use your powers to help mutants? Asked Storm. Naruto just stares at the African woman. Maybe because I don't see the difference between human and mutant. I mean, think about it, we're both humans, but the only difference is that humans don't gain powers at a certain age. The only difference is that unlike other superheroes like Hulk or Spider-Man, had accidents happen to them, while we gain our powers at a certain age. So, let me ask you again, what's the difference from us and regular people? I'll tell you, nothing. We both wake up, go to work, go to school, we cry. Hell, we even laugh. There is no difference except for the ignorance and hatred that blinds people, said Naruto. He then lets out a sigh. Besides, I am busy. I go to a boarding school. I am busy looking for colleges to attend, and not to mention I don't care about the war against mutants and humans, plus I am not endangering my family. I know damn well when playing the hero role there's a chance of my parents being killed. Besides, wearing tights just isn't my thing, said Naruto. But it's your responsibility to show humans we can live together in harmony, yelled Cyclops. Wrong. I don't want to be a hero. I don't care how much humans hate mutants. The only thing I care about is getting a good education, but sadly me having a normal life is unlikely to happen due to the hand, and mostly because of you X-Men. I wouldn't doubt others will try to go after me because of how powerful I am, but that doesn't mean I'll join your boy band, said Naruto. He then uses the esoteric earth to lift himself from the ground. Wait. Where are you going? Yelled Hope. Naruto turns to the beautiful redhead. Naruto quickly realizes just how beautiful she is. I am going home. Leave me alone. I don't have time for your Martin Luther King speech, said Naruto as the earth floats in the air. We're not done, yelled Cyclops, firing off his optic blast at Naruto. The blonde glances back at Cyclops. Naruto lets out a sigh. He then transformed into a spiritual demon. In this form, Naruto sizes increases, becoming 85. His once tan skin turns sickly green with numerous of demonic markings all over his body. He has long arms. On the arms are quills. In his form, he has 4 long sharp fingers. His head resembles Violator and Wendigo. He has long built legs and his feet resemble feet of an condor. He has 4 wings and he has yellow bright eyes. He has the body of Violator and Blackheart. Naruto in his spiritual demon form raises hand, absorbing the energy from Cyclops' optic blast. Really, that's how you going to get my attention? Said Naruto. He then transforms back to normal. Yak. Now thanks to one of my mutation I can transform into the major 3 types of demons: physical, spiritual, and esoteric. And I can control each of their abilities. I can clearly see you and your boy band won't leave me alone, so I might as well take you to my house to talk to my parents, said Naruto as he lowers himself to the ground. Hope giggles at his obvious insult to her team. He's funny, but I can't believe how strong he is. He's definitely an Omega level, but I can't help to somewhat agree with his way of thinking, thought Hope as she walks towards Naruto. Wolverine walks beside her with a smirk. He then turns around gringing at Cyclops. You coming Summers? You know the kid could kill you, right? Said Wolverine with a smirk. Everyone else starts walking towards Naruto. The blonde then uses his esoteric powers to lift a huge amount of earth and take Naruto and the X-Men away. Naruto was just happy his home wasn't anywhere near his home. The blonde turns towards Hope. What's your name? Naruto in curiosity, since he never seen her before. Hell, he heard of the rest of the X-Men, but she doesn't look familiar. But Naruto realizes she looks like the mutant Jean Grey who has been dead for years. My name is Hope. Hope Summers. Can I ask you something? Asked Hope. Naruto nods his head. How long have you known you were a mutant? Asked Hope, wondering when he became a mutant. Everyone else was wondering when Naruto found out he was a mutant. Naruto lets out a sigh, figuring it will take some time to get back home. I found out I was a mutant when I was 5 years old, said Naruto. He actually remembers where he was when he and his family found out he was a mutant. If he was honest with himself, that day was quite interesting. Flashback 13 years ago. Location: National Dinosaur Museum, Canberra, Australia. Most kids around the age of 5 years old would probably want to go to Disneyland, Snox, or Universal Studios, but for a certain blonde child that's not the case. Sure, Naruto would love to go to either one of those amusement parks, but just like any little boy, Naruto loves dinosaurs, so his parents Minato and Kushina had taken their son to one of the best museums that holds dinosaur bones. Minato being the father of Naruto, he has bright, blue eyes and spiky, blonde hair. Minato also had jaw-length bangs framing either side of his face. Minato is wearing a blue button-up shirt. Over the shirt he's wearing a dark green jacket, black jeans, and blue and black shoes. Kushina is a beautiful woman. She has a slender, but feminine build, fair skin, violet eyes, and red hair. It reached her ankles with shoulder-length strands that framed both sides of her face and a black clip that parts her hair to the left. She's wearing a white V-neck shirt. On the shirt is the numbers 0810, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes. Both Minato and Kushina smile down at their son, who's wearing overalls. Naruto looks around in amazement as if he just entered Wonderland. Kushina then bends down to Naruto's level. She smiles at her adorable son. Hey Naruto, do you want a piggyback from daddy? Asked Kushina in a sweet mother-like tone. Naruto slowly gains a wide smile. He then turns to his dad with the same million-watt smile. I want piggyback daddy, exclaimed Naruto with a wide childlike grin. Minato couldn't help himself but to smile at his son. He then bends down to his knee. Okay Naruto, come on. Just don't pull my hair, son, said Minato, but unfortunately, for Minato, Naruto either ignored what his father said or he didn't hear Minato it. Naruto had bragged onto Minato's long spiky blonde locks. Minato couldn't help but gain a sweat drops at Naruto. But Naruto, I thought I told you not to pull my hair, said Minato. Kushina nudges Minato to the side. Minato looks down at Kushina, who has a wide grin. Yak, now Naruto wasn't going to listen to you, dear, said Kushina with a sly look. She then leans into Naruto's face, kissing his nose, causing Naruto to let out a childish squeal. Isn't dad right, Naruto? Databane, exclaimed Kushina. Minato shrugged his shoulders, causing Naruto bounce up and down. Yeah, you right. Hey Naruto, how about we see the T-Rex? Exclaimed Minato. Naruto clapped his hands in an excited manner. Yay! T-Rex Datbayo, yelled Naruto. The two parents laughed at Naruto's excitement. Kushina then gets in a pose with her knee wide open. Yeah, my little Naruto is right, Databane, yelled Kushina, pointing at the Tyrannosaurus exhibit. As they entered the T-Rex exhibit, Naruto's eyes shine in amazement as he sees numerous of T-Rex bones. Wow, said Naruto with eyes wide open and shocked as he looks at the Tyrannosaurus. Minato smiles down at Kushina. It's hard to believe creatures like this to be around centuries ago, huh Kushina? Asked Minato as they walk up to 3 T-Rex bones. Kushina nods her head. True, but would you want dinosaurs to be alive? Asked Kushina with her eyebrow raised. Minato shook his head negatively with his eyes closed. Not really Kushina, that doesn't sound fun really, stated Minato as the two talk with each other. Naruto stares at the fossils with a look of amazement. Naruto extends his arm out as Naruto focuses on the Tyrannosaurus fossil. Now notices that every one of the fossils within the museum start to move slightly, but then all of them turn towards Naruto, nearly moving. Kushina looks on in shock as each of the fossils, her eyes then shoot up as the fossils begin to rise from the air. What the hell? Said Kushina as she looks at the fossils, then looks at Naruto. Once Naruto notices his mom is looking at him, he then looks towards Kushina. She notices the fossils are following him. Naruto, are you doing this? Asked Kushina. Naruto takes the fossils. He raises his hand and the rest of the fossils raise their hand. Naruto looks back at his mom with a grin. Yep, said Naruto with a bright smile. Flashback end. It was that day when my parents were scared, not because their son was a mutant or because they hated or fear me. They were scared that people might attempt to kill me. I would then discover other powers I had, so I was forced to hide them and preventing people to try to use my parents against. They of course were proud of me, but they were still scared, said Naruto's in deep thought as Naruto thinks about the time when he found out he can create fossils. As they entered the T-Rex exhibit, Naruto's eyes shine in amazement as he sees numerous of T-Rex bones. Wow, said Naruto with eyes wide open and shocked as he looks at the Tyrannosaurus. Minato smiles down at Kushina. It's hard to believe creatures like this to be around centuries ago, huh Kushina? Asked Minato as they walk up to 3 T-Rex bones. Kushina nods her head true, but would you want dinosaurs to be alive? Asked Kushina with her eyebrow raised. Minato shook his head negatively with his eyes closed. Not really Kushina, that doesn't sound fun really, stated Minato as the two talk with each other. Naruto stares at the fossils with a look of amazement. Naruto extends his arm out as Naruto focuses on the Tyrannosaurus fossil. Now notices that every one of the fossils within the museum start to move slightly, but then all of them turn towards Naruto, nearly moving. Kushina looks on in shock as each of the fossils, her eyes then shoot up as the fossils begin to rise from the air. What the hell? Said Kushina as she looks at the fossils then looks at Naruto. Once Naruto notices his mom is looking at him, he then looks towards Kushina. She notices the fossils are following him. Naruto, are you doing this? Asked Kushina. Naruto took the fossils, he raises his hand and the rest of the fossils raised their hand. Naruto looks back at his mom with a grin. Yep, said Naruto with a bright smile. It was that day when my parents were scared, not because their son was a mutant or because they hated or fear me, they were scared that people might attempt to kill me. I would then discover other powers I had, so I was forced to hide them and preventing people to try to use my parents against. They of course were proud of me, but they were still scared, said Naruto's in deep thought as Naruto thinks about the time when he found out he can create fossils. Flashback end recap end. Hope just blinks her eyes in amazement while everyone else had their own expression, especially Beast, who look intrigued by his tale of his mutation awakening. Hope then smiles at Naruto. Sounds you had fun that day. I awakened my mutation when I was a baby. My dad said I was one of the first mutants born after Scarlet Witch had did M-Day, said Hope, who's happy she has met someone around her age. Beast stroked his furry chin as he looks at Naruto with curiosity. That's quite an astounding tale, Naruto. I am even more shocked that no one saw you. I can also understand where you coming from trying to lead a normal life, said Beast. The African woman nods her head in agreement. I am surprised someone as young as yourself recognized some faults with being a superhero. People around your age usually want to be a superhero, commented Storm. Naruto just shrugged his shoulder in a nonchalant manner. He could tell her that his mutation gave him omniscience, but he saw no reason to inform any of them. He already showed them more of his ability he was originally planning to show, even if it was a sliver of what he can actually do. He then turned to Storm. Well, I have better things to do than become center of attention and most feared person in the world, said Naruto, causing Hope to release a small snickered. Wolverine just smirks at the kid. He could tell this kid is not just intelligent but won't take shit from anyone. Emma raised an eyebrow and stares at Naruto with a suspicious glare. What might that be? You're a mutant. What could be more important than helping your fellow mutant and wanting the world to be able to coexist with the humans? Asked the blonde-haired telepath. Naruto just scoffed. Street her and you dressed like a whore is helping the mutant community. How? Oh, and Summers, don't even try anything. I mean, you can survive from fall this high. But to what the hooker was saying, I don't care about the mutants popping up. If I saw a mutant being beat to death I wouldn't do anything. After all, it has nothing to do with me. Even if the whole world declared a war against mutants I wouldn't do anything because I am focused on my education, said Naruto in a flat tone. Cyclops looked at the young teenager with utter shock. He couldn't believe what he was hearing from this kid. He then glares at the young mutant. How the hell could you say that? You're a mutant, yelled Cyclops. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the mutant leader. And what does that have to do with me? Asked Naruto in a flat tone. Colossus stares at Naruto with a bewildered look. The metal mutant can't believe this teenager didn't care about the other mutant. Sure, when people first weren't sure what they are if they actually wanted to join the mutant cause, but those are people who just discovered they're mutants. But Naruto, he discovered he was a mutant at the age of 5 years old. But this also raised alarms in his head. Colossus can't help but wonder how he was able to keep telepaths such Charles Xavier and Emma Frost out of mind, since they were some of the strongest telepaths on the planet. Beast coughed in his hand and gaining the attention of the other mutants. If I may, Naruto Uzumaki, have you ever thought about joining something? Joining a bigger cause that can possibly change the world? Asked Beast. Naruto stares at Beast with a blank stare. He then begins to laugh at Beast. Ahahaha, and tell me, has your mutant cause resolved anything? After all these years you're still at square one. I don't want to join your little breakfast club. Besides, as far as I see it, you idiots haven't achieved anything. Humans and mutants are still at each other's throat for the last decade. It's almost as if all deaths meant nothing, said Naruto in a cold tone. Both Cyclops and Colossus charged at Naruto with blinding rage. Naruto with absolute speed grapes Cyclops by his face. He then grabs onto the Russian mutant's arm. Emma smirks at this. Not a very smart move, said Emma. Cyclops' visor lights up, but instead of Naruto being blown back, a mini crimson blast goes off. Each of them stand in shock as both Naruto's hand in Scott's face has smoke going off. Upon seeing his command injured Colossus punched Naruto's cheek. But the blow doesn't do anything to him. Everyone just stares in shock at the teenager who just took a punch from their powerhouse. Not a very smart move, mocked Naruto. He then breaks Colossus' wrist. He lets go of the two. You two aren't very smart, huh? He then turned towards the other X-Men with a questionable stare. Why didn't you help? Asked Naruto. Wolverine grins at Naruto. I wanted to see Summers get his ass kicked, grinned Wolverine. Emma just crossed her arms underneath her breast and just scoffed at him. I thought they had it handled, said Storm, who's still shocked seeing both her teammates being taken out. I was curious what might happen, commented Beast, who seemed interested in Naruto or more, so he was interested in his mutation. After all, the last time someone was able to break one of Colossus' limbs was the Hulk. His mutation must be something astonishing, thought Beast. I am Aurora. I thought they can handle it themselves, said Rogue. She was impressed with Naruto since taking an optic blast or a punch from Colossus is no joke. His skin must be pretty durable to handle those two, especially getting punched by Colossus. It didn't even look like he felt it, thought Rogue. I was sure Colossus could take you out, said Kitty, who no regrets not helping her friends even though the only one keeping them afloat is the young teenager. Naruto then turned towards the beautiful redhead. I wanted to see how it played out, but that was amazing. You were able to take Scott's optic blast and a punch from Colossus like it was nothing, commented Hope with a smile. Naruto grins at Hope. Thanks, I told you before, I know how to use my powers and I was confident I could take the two out, said Naruto. Hope just looks at him with curiosity. So, what's your name? Asked Hope. Yeah, what is your name? You asked Lil Red. What's hers? Well, you could have a crush on our little miracle, teased Rogue, grinning at Naruto. He just rolled his eyes at the southern woman. You're just going to keep pestering me, aren't you? Questioned Naruto, but it was more of a statement. Rogue then puffed out her chest, causing her breast to bounce. Storm, Kitty, and Hope just rolled her eyes at their friend. You bet Suga, replied Rogue. Well, I don't see anything wrong giving them my name as long as I don't tell them anything about my powers. I should be fine, thought Naruto. He then turned towards Rogue with an annoyed expression. Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto. Interesting, as in not your name is translated to Maelstrom? Asked Beast. Naruto then groans at the questions. I am really starting to think about letting you idiots drop from here, groaned Naruto. Then why not just kill us? You said you could unless you were just lying to us. After all, you could be all talk and no action, taunted Emma with a smug look. The blonde male scoffed at Emma. If I wanted you dead Playboy bunny, you would be dead right now, said Naruto in a casual tone. Then why not just kill us? Asked Cyclops, who's no feeling suspicious of the teenager, mostly because he believes Naruto is being cocky. Naruto just stares at Cyclops' scorched visor because letting you life was the easiest way not to draw that much attention. Also, killing you just seemed like too much for me, said Naruto. Wolverine just stares at the teenager with a questionable stare. So you didn't kill us because you're lazy runt? Asked Wolverine, who's beginning to feel that kid is overestimating himself. Sure, he was impressed he was able to kill all those ninjas and reprogram Sentinels, but the former Weapon X felt like young kid could actually kill him. After all, many had tried to kill him but none have ever been able to actually kill him. Yes, but I also didn't want any more attention drawn towards me. The last thing I need is every government and supervillain organization. Long ago, I realized the danger of being a mutant or metahuman. Being a hero with no powers is just as dangerous. People hate what they don't understand, and others will use the ones you care to hurt those that are precious to you, and I plan to keep myself and my family out of harm's way. You costume-wearing heroes especially draw danger, said Naruto. He then stares at the sky with a blank expression. I have foreseen nearly over 100 ways for me to escape, but each either ends with their death fighting them into unconsciousness. The only people with that it would make me public enemy one within the superhero committee. While the X-Men and many humans are hated by everyone, they are friends with the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and other teams. This was just the easiest way, and I won't catch the attention of the superhuman committee. I don't like it. I'd rather kill them where they stand. After all, it wouldn't be hard, but this isn't about me, this is about protecting my family, thought Naruto. Cocky much, aren't you, kid? Replied Kitty with her hand on her hip. She then kneels down to Colossus and helps him up. You alright? Asked Kitty with a concerned look on her face. Colossus nods his head. He then turned his head to Naruto. You're strong, replied Colossus. I know, maybe next time. Think, insulted Naruto. Colossus narrowed his metallic eyes at the young Japanese male. You shouldn't have said what you said. We've lost friends, said Colossus. And I should care why? Asked Naruto. Storm then placed her hand on the metal mutant. Colossus, please calm yourself. We're trying to get him to our side, not drive him away, said Storm. Cyclops turned towards his comrade. He knew why Naruto was so confident, not because of arrogance or overconfidence, but because he knew could take every one of them out. Aurora is right, we must get him to see why our cause is so important, said Cyclops in a leader manner. Emma then turned to the younger blonde. Are we almost there? Asked Emma with a bored tone. What is your pimp calling you back? Insulted Naruto, who clearly doesn't like her or trust her. She may seem like she wants what's best for the mutant kind, but he could tell from a first glance the lingerie-wearing mutant is quite selfish. Emma grits her teeth in frustration. Why, you insoluble brat, growled Emma. Cyclops places his hand on his lover's shoulder. Emma, just bear with it, as soon as we can convince his parents we'll leave, said Cyclops. Emma just lets out a sigh and grasped his hand. What a good little slut. I mean, you have to be. I wonder how many other guts have passed you around, mocked Naruto. Emma's skin then becomes diamond. Naruto stops her punch without looking. Emma then watches as his arm is morphed into an arm of a Spinosaurus. She then watches in horror as her diamond hand begins to crack. How pathetic. It's always the foolish ones who attack first. I mean, you saw me break your chromed penis friend's wrist. What makes you think you stand a better question? Asked Naruto. He then begins to walk to the edge. He then lifts her from the rock. Let go, child, demanded Emma, who's narrowing her eyes at Naruto. She couldn't understand it. He was an unsolvable enigma. She didn't understand how he can block her out. She knew it had to be about his mutation, but the problem was she had no idea what it was. Naruto glares back at her. Yak, now, if I was you, I wouldn't release your diamond form. You can walk from here, said Naruto. He then released his grip from her and watches as Emma plummets to the ground. He then turned towards the other X-Men. We're only 5 blocks away from my house, said Naruto. The blonde then begins to fly lower. He and the other X-Men step off of the rock as they stand in front of a 2-story house. So this is where you live? Asked Hope. Naruto nods his head. It seems homey, doesn't it? Asked Beast. Naruto turns his head and stares at the panting Well, let's get this over with. I have homework to do, said Naruto. Wolverine then rubs the back of his head and turns to Cyclops. Wow, the kid really doesn't want to be a X-Men, said Wolverine. With that they followed Naruto into his home. Mom, I am home, said Naruto as he removes his shoes. Everyone copies Naruto except Emma and Cyclops. Okay, I am coming, Naruto, said Kushina. She then entered the living room with a happy expression, but upon seeing the mutants her once happy expression morphed into one of anger. What the hell are the X-Men doing here? Yelled Kushina. Minato runs downstairs. As soon as he hears his wife yelling, he too narrowed his piercing blue eyes. Beast steps up, taking role of peacemaker. We mean you no harm. My name is Hank McCoy, said Beast. Lies, roared Kushina, whose hair starts to flare up, making the red-haired woman look like some demon. She then turned towards her husband. Minato, these bastards are trying to take our son away, exclaimed Kushina. I assure we do not plan to take your son away. All we want is to talk, Storm, hoping to calm the mother of the Omega mutant. Minato just shook his head. No, what you want is for my son, who's only a teenager, to join your war against the Homo sapien. You're asking me and my wife to hand over our child to you people, said Minato, who's staring at them with an unfazed expression, not even bothered by the X-Men's glare. You people? What do you mean as you people? Questioned Kitty. What I mean is you costume heroes. I know if I allow my son to join you, you'll never see him. Besides, I do not want to bury my son, said Minato. But your son has gifts. If he goes to Charles Xavier's school for the gifted, he can master his powers and help ends this hatred with humans mutants, said Cyclops. You speak as if you are not human. The only difference between us is a certain gene. Other than that, you aren't as different as my wife and I, Naruto, said Minato. Naruto turned to the older blonde. Yes, Dad, said Naruto. You brought them here because you knew this was the only course of action that won't bring the attention of the other superheroes, didn't you? Asked Minato. His son nods his head. He then smiles at his son. Good, I don't want you involved with them, said Minato. Naruto flashes his father a fox-like grin. Dad, why would I want to join their boy band? It is not boy band, interrupted Colossus. Sure it is. Besides, I have better things to do than fight for people I don't know or care about, and I have bright future. I rather stay on track than be in some home of some weird creepy old bald heaven gates, grinned Naruto. Hope blushes at Naruto's grin. Kushina stares at Hope. The red-haired mutant then turns to Kushina, who's staring at her intensely. Yes, Miss Uzumaki, said Hope. Kushina seems to ignore her and walks up to her. Her teammates then get ready if the human attacks her, but to Hope's and everyone shocked, Kushina hugs Hope tightly in a near-death hug, rubbing her cheek against Hope's. You're so cute, chimed Kushina. She then sets her sights on Wolverine and Beast. Get out of my house, you filthy beasts, demanded Kushina. Wolverine and Beast just stood in shock at the 360 mood change. Emma them begins to snicker. Kushina turns to Emma. You too, hooker, demanded Kushina. No, listen, he ouch, groaned Emma. She then states at Kushina with a questionable stare. Did you just throw a wooden spoon at me? Questioned Emma. Kushina then appears to have an iron food mallet. Get out, ordered Kushina. 3 mutants, seeing no way around it, leaves the house, leaving Cyclops, Kitty, Colossus, Rogue, Storm, and Hope with the unwilling family. Please, Miss Uzumaki, you wouldn't have to worry about Naruto's education at Charles Xavier's school. Your son would get the world's best education, said Cyclops. The Mother of the Omega level then gains a thinking look. Let me think about no, said Kushina with a deadpan expression, who wanted these hoodlums in her home. She was starting to get annoyed as they attempt to convince them to let their son join their fight against the Homo sapien. She was no idiot. She's aware lots of people were killed because of the mutant caused, and she'd rather have him alive. But you're just hindering his skills by making him live his life as a human, resorted Cyclops with a mental groan at the hard-headed parents. No, they're not. I choose to live my life as a normal person because I realize the trouble that can be caused if anyone found out my existence, said Naruto with his arms crossed, who's not even interested in their cause. After all, it wasn't his problem and he doesn't intend to make it his problem. But someone already knows of your existence, exclaimed Storm with a pleading expression. The Japanese woman looked at her son with concern. All that is going through her head is, has someone finally discovered her son? Have they really? Kushina. The whiskered male nods his head. Yeah, it is. The hand had reprogrammed some sentinels, but I took care of them, see, said Naruto, then takes out a miniature Triceraton, Titanus, Anclotrix, and Avacron from his pocket and showed them to his parents. These were once sentinels made by the hand, but I had some remolding done. But right now Triceraton, Titanus, Anclotrix, and Avacron are searching through all the hand's computers to find the manufacturing building. I've had them do this ever since poster child for Boy Scouts and his little club found me in a matter of hours. I will know where it is and then I'll destroy the building. The people who created these sentinels, said Naruto. Kushina looks at her son with worry and concern. When you find the base, please be careful, Minato, and I wouldn't know what we do if we ever lost you, said Kushina as she brings her son in for a hug. Naruto smiles at his mother. Don't worry, I promise I will believe it, said Kushina. Minato smiles warmly at his son. I am glad to hear that. Just be careful. When you find their base, they won't go easy on you, said Minato. And neither will I, Dad, you can trust me, commented Naruto with a half grin. We can be of some assistance. We could help you, said Kitty. Don't need it. If I didn't need you before, then why would I need it now? I was capable of killing all those ninjas even before you guys show up, stated Naruto. Rogue rolled her eyes at Naruto. Or one arrogant little kid, said Rogue. What you call arrogance, I call it confidence, said Naruto. Kushina then stares at the rest of the X-Men. Now, if you don't mind, get out of my house before I throw you troublesome idiots out, yelled Kushina with an angry expression upon seeing the losing battle X-Men then leave the house. Cyclops then released a sigh of tiredness. Well, that went well, groaned Kitty. Rogue then rubs the back of her neck. I thought she was going to throw a frying pan at us or something. I mean, she threw mallet at Emma, stated Rogue. At first it seemed like Minato and Kushina had hated Mutant Bug. It became clear to her they didn't hate mutants, they just hated the superhero committee as a whole. Wolverine then snickers at Emma, causing Emma to glare at him, at which she has a notable small injury on her head. Shut it, Logan, growled Emma. She then huffs in annoyance. Great, now it's bleeding. Why didn't you just allow me use my powers on them? That would have been easier, stated Emma. That be true, but we can. Naruto is a very intelligent kid, especially for his age, but he would have been suspicious of their certain change and that would have give him another reason not to join us, explained Cyclops. But he too wish he can use Emma's powers to sway the difficult parents, but he knew it wasn't what Charles Xavier would do. It's something the X-Men wouldn't do. Wolverine nods his head, agreeing with Cyclops. Summers is right. This would only give the kid another to hate you, especially you, Emma. I mean, you did attack him and tried to read his mind. It's obvious he wants nothing to do with the X-Men. I doubt he would even accept a position on the Avengers, said Wolverine as he ignites a cigar. Kitty's attention shifted from Wolverine to Cyclops. So, what now, Scott? Asked Kitty. For now we return, said Cyclops. Rogue raised her eyebrows. So, we're just going to forget about him? Exclaimed a worried Rogue. After all, she knew what it felt like to be used for others' desires and needs. She did not want this young mutant to be used as a weapon. Cyclops shook his head negatively. No, we need to think of a new course of action. We originally thought he wouldn't be so far knowing about his mutation, said Cyclops as he tries to calm his teammates down. He knew each felt differently about leaving the young mutant alone. Emma turned towards Cyclops. Not just that, but we had no idea how he felt about mutant community or the superhero community. We also accepted his parents to be scornful of their son, or in most cases believing there is something wrong with being a mutant, but here we have parents who still love and care about their child. It also seems as both parents are very intelligent. We have a hard case, Scott. This is not going to be easy, explained Emma while she's still angry at the insults being thrown by a young teenager. She knew she can't allow her emotions to blind her. After all, they're trying to get a powerful mutant to their side, even though said mutant is a brat. Kitty then crossed her arms underneath her breast. Then this is going to need a lot of work, said Kitty. Everyone agrees with Kitty with that. They begin to leave. Wolverine then growls in annoyance, causing everyone to turn towards him. Ah, shit. We have to walk back. He knew what would have happened. He played us, damn kid, snarled Wolverine as he realized they have to do 26-mile walk back on foot. Time skip location. Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted. The aged mutant sips on his tea. So the mutant you encountered was a teenager? Asked Charles with a polite tone. He was quite shocked that mutant so young was able to learn how to use his powers, but like everyone his mutation caught his attention. From what they've told me, he can transform into a demon, can reshape the machines and alter their program. He even has the ability to control fossils. He even appeared to have superhuman strength, durability, and control over an unnatural earth element, thought Charles. Emma nods her head, who now has a bandage on her forehead. She was quite shocked at how Naruto's mother was. Yeah, he was quite intelligent and rude, grumbled Emma, who's still annoyed at the insults. She had never been insulted like that. After all, most people had been awestruck at her natural beauty, but this kid saw her as nothing, as a common whore, which would have made any woman angry. The leader of the X-Men sighs. Even talking about the young teenager is giving him a headache. He still had a headache from the backlash from his optic blast. It still hurt like hell. The Summer's mutant thought Naruto was going to crush his skull. He also is powerfully skilled. I am not even completely sure if he's just an Omega-level mutant, Charles, said Cyclops, but underneath his visor his crimson-colored eyes narrows at the founder of the X-Men. Charles then massages his chin. You believed he's a beyond Omega-level mutant? Asked Charles. Cyclops nods his head. Yes, from the show of what little he can do, I would say the level he has is far beyond that of an Omega-level mutant. This child also seems very hesitant to show his other powers, said Cyclops. Charles' eyes then become one of determination. If this mutant is truly what you say, he could possibly be the one that can help us change the sides of the war. But it seems what we must do is to somehow convince this Naruto our war against the hateful mutants and the evil mutant is a noble cause. Scott. Emma, this task won't be easy. You know, if you fail we would lose a great addition, right? Asked Charles. Of course we know that. But we must be willing to take the chances. With each day the humans' hatred of us becomes greater. What's to say one day the humans won't band together and exterminate us, or worse, a wide execution for mutants? Just look what the Hand did. These were Sentinels created from the blueprints of Ultron. Who knows what they might do next? Roared Cyclops in anger. Charles then rises from his seat. I know, as each day the humans are plotting, but we must stand strong, prove to them we are peaceful and we do not want some other mutants want. We must show them we want to live in peace, not live divided. Please do not do anything rash, Scott. The work you are doing requires another level of strategy. You're dealing with someone who's aware of the hard part of saving the mutant race and being one with the superhero community, said Charles. Cyclops sighs. I am sorry. I am just frustrated that the humans still see us as criminals, said Cyclops. I know how you feel, Scott. Sometimes I wonder if this war will ever stop, but I have hope. Hope that one day mutant and human can live in peace, said Charles with a confident tone. With Naruto, both Naruto and Minato watched as Kushina angrily stuffs her face with food. How dare they enter my home, demanding to take away my son. My only son. The nerve of those people. Who the hell do they think they are? Stupid pajama-wearing idiots, grumbled Kushina as she stuffs her face with some Hawaiian barbecue chicken. Minato smiles nervously at Kushina. Dear, don't you think you should slow down? You could choke on your food, advised Minato. Kushina glares at her husband. Shut it, Minato. I am pissed. Those pajama-wearing idiots think they know what's best for our son. I believed I am allowed to be angry, roared Kushina. After all, any parent would be angry if someone came in their house telling them what's best for their child. Minato then eats a piece of asparagus. I know you're pissed. I am too. They basically want us to give Naruto to them for their mutant army, but you should slow down, said Minato. Kushina puffs out her cheeks stubbornly. She then turned towards Naruto. Naruto, do you want to join them? Asked Kushina. Naruto shook his head negatively. The two parents released a heavy sigh. No, I don't. Being an X-Men or hero would put you guys in danger. Besides, with being a hero, you and your loved ones are in constant danger. Every hero has literally lost someone who they care about. I don't want to do that. I want to focus on my education. After all, my education is more important than some war going on against people who are too ignorant to see their war is pointless, said Naruto. Kushina then holds onto her son's hand and smiles brightly at Naruto. You know we only what's best for you, right? Asked Kushina. Naruto's eyes went to the amber-encased Randus Orbini. He then turned back to his mother. Yeah, I know, you just don't want to have to bury me if I die, even though I doubt anyone can kill me, said Naruto with a smile. We know how powerful, but we're your parents. We can't but Toto worry about you. You can be God himself and we would still worry about you, said Minato, who smiles at his son. Naruto smiles at his father. Right, Dad? Mom, I am happy I have such wonderful parents, but can I be excused? I need some fresh air. Dealing with Summers and his boyfriend is a real pain, said Naruto. Minato nods his head with a smile. Sure, I am sure we all have a headache dealing with them, said Minato. Naruto smiles at his father. He then exits out of the house and stretch his arms, allowing him to hear the cracking sound of his bones. Then fossil rises from the ground. The fossil looks like a cross from a basilisk and a bat. The fossil flies to a tree that's 2 miles from them. Hope is left shocked as the strange fossil creature wraps around her. It's no use. That fossil I created has nullified your mutation now. What are you doing here? Did Summers ordered you to spy on me? Demanded Naruto, whose eyes are narrowed with his eyes igniting with white hellish lightning. Scott didn't send me. I am here on my own, exclaimed Hope. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Hope. Why? Asked Naruto as he turned off his demonic lightning. I was curious about what it's like to have a family, blurted Hope. Kushina then holds onto her son's hand and smiles brightly at Naruto. You know we only what's best for you, right? Asked Kushina. Naruto's eyes went to the amber-encased Randus Orbini. He then turned back to his mother. Yeah, I know, you just don't want to have to bury me if I die, even though I doubt anyone can kill me, said Naruto with a smile. We know how powerful, but we're your parents. We can't but to worry about you. You can be God himself and we would still worry about you, said Minato, who smiles at his son. Naruto smiles at his father. Right, Dad? Mom, I am happy I have such wonderful parents, but can I be excused? I need some fresh air. Dealing with Summers and his boy band is a real pain, said Naruto. Minato nods his head with a smile. Sure, I am sure we all have a headache dealing with them, said Minato. Naruto smiles at his father. He then exits out of the house and stretch his arms, allowing him to hear the cracking sound of his bones. Then fossil rises from the ground. The fossil looks like a cross from a basilisk and a bat. The fossil flies to a tree that's 2 miles from them. Hope is left shocked as the strange fossil creature wraps around her. It's no use. That fossil I created has nullified your mutation now. What are you doing here? Did Summers ordered you to spy on me? Demanded Naruto, whose eyes are narrowed with his eyes igniting with white hellish lightning. Scott didn't send me. I am here on my own, exclaimed Hope. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Hope. Why? Asked Naruto as he turned off his demonic lightning. I was curious about what it's like to have a family, blurted Hope. Recap end. Naruto stares at her with a confused look. Aren't you two related? I mean, isn't Cyclops your family? Questioned Naruto, who was confused. After all, the red-haired female in front of him looked like the X-Man Jean Grey except much younger. Hope nods her head and stares at the stars that night. Full sky. He's my grandfather, said Hope, confusing the young Japanese mutant. Time travel, said Hope. The blonde teen then gains an understanding look. Time was confusing. Even with his extremely high intelligence, he still found time traveling confusing, but both Hope and Naruto understood time traveling, but that didn't make it any less confusing. Naruto then commanded the fossil basilisk to unwrap itself around the redhead. Her green eyes shine at him with gratitude. While Hope could have easily mimicked his power, she decided against it. After all, she didn't come back here to start a fight with the mutant that seemed like it was Wolverine's job. She then turned towards him. So, what's it like? Asked Hope. Naruto then strokes the skull of the serpent. You mean to have a family that doesn't include the asshat of a leader? Asked Naruto. Hope giggles at his joke. He was fully aware at how much of an asshole Cyclops is, and living with the mutant leader must be difficult. He just met the man and he already hates Summers. Hope nods her head and releases a low giggle. Aha, yeah, not having my asshat grandfather, joked Hope. Naruto then allows a half smirk to appear on his face. I like it. I mean, my parents didn't abandon me like other parents. Actually, they treated me as if me being a mutant wasn't a big deal, commented Naruto. He was truly happy that his parents were like the ignorant mutant haters. His ocean blue eyes met Hope's emerald-colored eyes. Does anyone else know? Asked Hope, who has a pink hue running across her face. She doesn't understand what made her blush. After all, no one has ever made her blush, but this is probably due to the fact that everyone sees her as the reborn Jean Grey. Yeah, there are. My godparents know. It is why my godmother had decided to study mutant genetics. The two of them have helped me with understanding my powers. So, what do they call you? The Second Coming, Marvel Girl, Return of the Phoenix, Jean Grey II? Mocked Naruto, who was aware of the X-Men has ridiculous names. Even though he has nigh omniscience, there are still things he doesn't know, but he was aware that Cyclops is a horrible husband in person. It is his fault that his son was experimented on and has that techno-virus that plagues his body. He was even aware of the whole conflict involving Registration Act that had caused a civil war between the superhero community. He even knew about the whole Skrull invasion. It was these reasons why he didn't want to join the superhero community. With the constant conflict and alien invasions, and the X-Men had been involved in dangerous conflicts, especially when Scarlet Witch wiped out half the mutants. Hope then looks away in embarrassment. Mutant Messiah, said Hope in a low tone. Naruto stares at her with a blank expression on his face. Really? Wow, someone was feeling a little bit too religion. What dumbass gave you that name? Tisk, might as well call yourself Mutant Jesus. Mocked Naruto, but unknown to her, a beetle nanobot flies off his fingertip and becomes even smaller, making it invisible to the naked eye. The nanobot then enters her skin. It was Scott who gave me that name, said Hope, but the red-haired woman knew that name was over the top even for X-Men standards. It was because of this name and how she was treated made her feel like she was alone, even though there are some people at the mansion who simply see her as Hope Summers, and she was fortunate for. Why am I not surprised, said Naruto with his rolling back. Hope turns towards Naruto with a raised eyebrow. You really don't like Scott, do you? Asked Hope, not understanding why he hated Scott so much. She wasn't sure it was possible for someone to hate Scott as much as Wolverine hates Scott. He also seems to hate Emma, but that didn't surprise her too much. After all, lots of people hate Emma, and there were some who still saw her as the White Queen. I have my reasons. Besides, it didn't take that long to find out he's a dick, said Naruto, even though it was clear she wasn't trying to recruit him into the X-Men like the others were. He still knew not to tell her anything about his omniscience. After all, she didn't really need to know he's aware of certain events happening in the multiverse. The less she knows and the less she'll try to get him to join her friends, and taking orders from Cyclops and Emma didn't sound appealing to the blonde-haired mutant. Once again, Hope Summers releases a fit of giggles. She oddly found herself enjoying his company, even though the blonde was horribly rude to her friends. Even though Scott had pretty much started, she couldn't help but wonder, was this how it feels to have someone her own age who doesn't see her as a mutant messiah or some good for the mutant race? Instead, Naruto sees her as Hope and not Jean Grey. Naruto found Hope to be an anomaly. He's always been able to see the lives of many of the superheroes and villains, but for some strange reason he was unable to see her or her adventures. He wasn't sure if this was because of her, not only him to see her, it could because he doesn't have complete omniscience, but he found Hope to be far better company than some of the other X-Men. The blonde sighs as Triceraton, Titanus, Enclotrix, and Avacron still haven't found the manufacturing building he needed to find the place and destroy it. As long as the Hand has those plans, they can create powerful sentinels. Fortunately, none of the ninjas he fought were able to escape, but the Hand obliviously knows of him thanks to those machines, and as long as they create them, they can easily find him. And he wasn't going to allow his parents to be killed because of some damn ninjas. He may not be a hero, but that doesn't mean he won't fight back. Hell, show what happens to those who mess with his family, and hopefully after this I won't see the Hand and the X-Men for a long time, thought Naruto. He knew he was being cruel and an asshole for insulting their cause, but to him it seemed pointless, especially when the X-Men don't do anything to show they're normal citizens too. So until they change the way they operate, he isn't joining their boy band. Hope smiles at the young teen. Yeah, he's a real pain at times, and same with Emma. She can be a real bitch, like all the time, said Hope, but muttered the last part to herself. Naruto obliviously heard her and just snorted at her. It seemed like the two mutants had some things in common. Both thought Scott is a dick and Emma is a bitch. But should NTU be heading home? I am sure Summers is messing his lord and savior, the Mutant Messiah, mocked Naruto, causing the girl to turn scoff at him with a smirk. She grins at Naruto and pats her gun. I don't need Scott to help me, I can handle myself. And you're talking to the daughter of Cable, exclaimed Hope, feeling proud to be the child of Cable, who was the person she cared for the most. The daughter of Cable, the blonde, didn't JNKN that, but seems like Cable adopted the girl. That was quite surprisingly, but it's a good thing he isn't like his father, probably the only Summers he likes besides Havoc, but the blonde Summers is weird. Naruto grins at her. Oh yeah, what can you do, Red Riding mutant? Joked Naruto. Hope blushes at the comment. Wait and see, Fox Charming, joked Hope within her head. A chibi Hope is bouncing up and down with glee, and chibi Naruto just standing there with an annoyed expression. Hope then turns towards the star-covered skyline. Stars are lucky they're free to go wherever they want and they don't have deal with discrimination, commented Hope. That's cause people are stupid to hate someone because they're different. Tisk. People really are stupid, and I am talking about both humans and mutants. Seriously, they're wasting time fighting each other, but then again, we humans are our own destruction, said Naruto in a cold tone. Hope stares at Naruto, not understanding about us being our own destruction. And yet again the blonde was another mystery, and everything about him seemed mysterious. She then stares back at the sky but was surprised as the stars begin flying around the sky. She then slowly turned towards Naruto, who's covered in a golden aura, and his eyes gained a golden hue, making them even more beautiful. Damn it. I knew it. It was Naruto, thought Hope. She then swats him on the arm. Damn it, Naruto, quit, exclaimed Hope. Naruto rolled his eyes. Within a matter of seconds each star in the sky returned back to their original places. Titanus, Triceraton, Enclotrix, and Avacron's eyes lights up with a red hue. This caught the attention of the two beyond Omega level mutants. Scan complete, said Enclotrix. Naruto looked at the cybernetic dinosaur with a pleased expression. It might have taken a while for the scanning to be complete. He then gains a serious expression. Where is the warehouse? Asked Naruto, ignoring the curious gaze of Hope. The Sentinel factory is located in Bakerville, Wisconsin, said Avacron. The robot's eyes light up and a digital map appears. Naruto releases a sigh. It should NT take me that long to get there, 30 or 40 minutes at best, muttered Naruto. He then stands up, but before he can do anything, Hope places her hand on his shoulder and smiles at him. You don't actually believe I am going to stand here and you go facing all those ninjas and robots alone, said Hope. Why? asked Naruto. It may have been a simple word, but it also held a lot of meaning behind it. The only response she could come up with was a simple shrug of the shoulders. I am not sure, but I am an X-Man. It's our job to help mutants, said Hope, smiling up at the towering teen. Fine, whatever, just stand back for a minute. I am going to turn into my strongest demon form, said Naruto. Have Hope steps a couple steps back, not sure how large Naruto will be in his strongest demon form. Naruto then begins to increase in height. He now stands 89. His muscles expand, thus making him as muscular as the mighty god of thunder. His face shifts into a more demonic appearance. He no longer has his natural tan skin tone, instead his skin is crimson red. His face morrow him into a demonic skull-like face with horns, blazing red eyes, sharp razor fangs, and his ears are more pointy and longer. His face and neck are a mixture of black and red. His whole head is covered in bright wild flames. He wears a black armored chest piece that has a skull on it. The eyes and nose of the skull are a vibrant red. He also has a flaming circle on his stomach, and inside of the flaming circle is the teeth. He wears spikes on his shoulders. He also wears a maroon-colored cape. He wears gauntlets that are covered in sharp curved spikes. Around his waist he wears a chain-like belt made from demon skulls. He wears demon skulls on his knee pads, and wears gray boots. This is my nether demon form, and let's go, said Naruto in a deep demonic voice. His body is then covered in a golden aura. The crimson demon grabs Avacron, Anclotrix, Titanus, and Triceraton. He then picks up Hope and carries her. He then looks down at Hope, who has her arms wrapped around Naruto's neck. Hang on, said Naruto. This was the only warning she got as Naruto took flight, shocking Hope at how fast Naruto was. She was sure he was flying faster than Sentry, who's the world's strongest superhero, but Hope was forced to close her eyes due to the strong wind currents being pressed against. He's fast. This level of speed is ridiculous. She could. I wonder, can he beat Odin, Sentry, or Blue Marvel? Thought Hope, but if there was something she was happy about is staying behind. Sure, she's going to get yelled at for ditching them, especially since Bishop, Strife, and Mr. Sinister are after her, but it would be worth it after she finally met someone who treats her normal, well, normal for mutant standards. Fortunately for her, Naruto's body was extremely warm, protecting Hope from the harsh cold winds. In this form he had no problem with cold, but Hope had a problem, but he couldn't help but to be curious about her mutation. He then mentally shrugged his shoulders. It wouldn't be long until his nanobot complete the analysis on her genes. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling a lot of trouble will be happening and she'll be the center of it. Plus I'll see what she can do when we get there, thought Naruto. He just hope after this night he'll be Abkato, return back to his peaceful life. He enjoyed his life. While it wasn't anything grand like some of the teenage superheroes, but he enjoyed his school life, and that was until the X-Men showed up. He just hopes he doesn't attract some of the dangerous enemies of the X-Men. He was confident he could take Shaw, Sinister, and even Apocalypse. Of course he wouldn't go out looking to fight them, but that didn't mean he won't fight back. The young Uzumaki could only pray to God that he wouldn't have to deal with any of the supervillains, but he knew his powers would attract the attention of not only the superhero and supervillain community but also the government itself. That was also another reason why he didn't want to join the X-Men. If the government heard of him, then S.H.I.E.L.D. wouldn't be too far. Actually, he was positive that S.H.I.E.L.D. would be first to know of his existence than any other government organization. While he could simply refuse and fight the heroes and villains, the government was a different case. He could simply attack, but that brings unnecessary problems, and he didn't feel like being public enemy number one, and it would endanger his parents. The blondes sometimes wish he was normal like his best friends Gaara, Haku, and Shikamaru, but that isn't the case. While he's aware he isn't normal, he still enjoys acting and living a normal life. It is far more easier living a normal life than a life filled with fighting crime. While he was younger, he always wanted to be a superhero like Iron Man, Captain America, and Spider-Man, but as he grew older he started seeing the cons of being a superhero. He understood the need for being a hero, but he just wouldn't endanger any of his friends or family. He wasn't sure what to do if anything happened to his favorite cousin Karen. Okay, that wasn't saying much since his other cousins aren't his age. She was the only person around his age who knows he's a mutant, and there was no way in hell he would endanger her just so he could become a hero. Besides, there's thousands of heroes. There's no need for me to wear spandex or tights, thought Naruto. His flaming eyes narrowed. He then stops. With him no longer flying at incredible speed has allowed the red-haired mutant's eyes to open. She then watches as Naruto turns back to normal. She then turns towards where his eyes are looking and see an average-looking business building. Her emerald eyes stare in disbelief. Is that really it? It seems cliché, exclaimed Hope. He couldn't really fault her. Having your evil lair under a business building was cliché and not a very good idea, but he hoped he wouldn't have to deal with Modok. That may be the case, but this makes our job much easier, states the blonde teen with his body still covered in the golden energy. The two young mutants slammed into the building, busting them off the hinges before any of the business people could speak. Hope mimics his esoteric element powers and captures the three people in a sphere of magic water. She then slams them into the ceiling with an incredible force that had left huge spider webs cracks. With a sly grin, she then slams them back to the ground. The blonde glances at the red-haired female. So, that's what she can do, and she has an understanding of them too. Thought Naruto. Anclotrix, lock all exits, emergency exits, and escape pods, ordered Naruto. The robotic dinosaur's eyes ignite in a crimson hue. All exits and emergency exits have been locked, said Anclotrix. Naruto then juiced into the center and stares down at the ground. He then thrust his fist into ground. A golden explosion is released, destroying the very ground. As the smoke clears, they see it leads to a lower level. Naruto then motions for her first. She gave him a nod and jumps down. Naruto jumps down. She then glances at the blonde, ignoring the alarms. So, who long is it gonna take them to get here? Asked Hope. Not a second later, they hears the sound of running, at which Naruto cracks his neck. Not very long apparently, said Naruto. Each of the ninjas glare at Naruto and Hope. The blonde teen turns towards Hope. If your powers is what I think it is, then I suggest protecting yourself, said Naruto. She then turns her skin into a metallic skin. Naruto then claps his hands together, unleashing powerful golden blast that obliterated the soldiers. He stops the flow of his celestial powers. He then turns to see Hope with regular skin. Yak, now it's not to turn back, said Naruto. Hope clocks her gun and smirks at Naruto and miss all the fun. No way. And besides, we mutants got to stick together, said Hope with a bright smile. Naruto shrugged his shoulders and begins to make hose down the hall, but unknown to her, Naruto has a pink hue across his cheeks. She then follows him, but after 2 minutes of walking they both begin to feel suspicious. With no noise whatsoever, even the alarm stopped. It's a trap, muttered Hope. Yeah, I know, but I care, said Naruto. A silver green aura covers his right hand. Suddenly the elevator in front of them begins to morph. Spikes begins to take place, cutting the cable, but suddenly the elevator is lifted by Naruto. Hope shots him a curious look, but he pays no mind to the redhead. Instead, she can various of screams, various of spikes pokes through the steel machine. Hope quickly turns her skin into adamantium. With the cable destroyed, he allows gravity takes its course. The two mutants can clearly hear the sound of a loud crash and various of screams. Hope then jumps down, shocking many of the ninjas. Each of the charge at her, but the blades they break once they hit her adamantium skin. She punches a man straight into an offline sentinel. A loud crunch could be heard as his body was slammed against the machine. She quickly pulls out 2 pistols and begins firing on the ninjas. Eat this, mutant! Roared a ninja who has a grenade launcher. Each of the ninjas quickly jumped away as the man fired a grenade at Hope. The explosion threw her back. She glares at the man. She opens her mouth and released a wind blast from her mouth, which had sent the man flying. The other ninjas had through chains and retrain her movement. We got her, exclaimed the ninja. One of the ninjas had wrap a chain around Hope's neck and choking the young teen. Another ninja grabs her guns, points it at her face, but before any of the men can attempt to kill Hope, the ceiling crumbles. Each of the ninjas stare in shock as a Spinosaurus comes crashing down. The ninjas weren't able to do anything as they were crushed under its feet. The dinosaur swings his tail, knocking the men into the wall. The dinosaur then grabs 2 of the ninja. His claws are then ignited in flames, burning the ninjas alive. The colossal reptile throws the burned bodies at a large screen. The Spinosaurus then shapeshifts into a velociraptor. I thought you might need some help, said Naruto. Hope smiles at Naruto. She then picks up her guns. Thanks, Naruto, I owe you one, states Hope with a smile. Her emerald-colored eyes shine with gratitude. Naruto smirks at her. He then turns towards the sentinel. The robotic mutant killing machine begins to change in size. It now stands 85. The sentinel's appearance change, making it look like a beetleborg, and its color becomes gold and black. Its rose-red eyes then begins to flicker. On payback, a bitch, said Naruto. Icarus online. Human threat detected, said Icarus. Each of the ninjas stare in horror as the robot raised its arm. 3 gun barrels emerged from the gauntlet. Terminate human threat, declared Icarus. It quickly begins to shot at each of the humans and thus painting the massive underground in the scarlet blood. He then takes out Anclotrix and Avacron. He then places Anclotrix on the computer. Avacron join Icarus and execute the humans, ordered Naruto. The machine quickly follows after the other machine, joining in the slaughter of humans. He then turns towards Anclotrix. Now up a virus that'll destroy all information on these sentinels, and that includes Ultron, Vision, and Jocasta, ordered Naruto. Suddenly various of ninjas storm into the large lab and locate the self-destruct button. It's time to bury these bastards, said Naruto as he turns towards the ninjas who drew various of weapons. He then turns into his nether demon form. His eyes gain a golden hazel hue. Suddenly each bee of them begins to howl in total fear. Each of them begins to attack each other in savage ways, but they still have a frightful expression on their faces. Naruto raises his hand and an intense demonic satanic hellfire covers his whole hand. He then punched the ground with a mighty punch. As his hand comes in contact with the ground, the whole room is quickly consumed in a satanic fire, incinerates everything it touches. The screams of the terrified ninjas weren't long, but you can hear the absolute fear that possessed them. With the screams silent, Naruto stops the hellfire. Both can see half of the room is scorched beyond belief. They can even see their cremation bodies. Hope turns towards Naruto with a shocked expression. What did you do? Asked Hope. Naruto shrunk back to his normal form and shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. What do you think I did? asked Naruto. Her eyes then went wide. You instilled fear in them, states Hope. At which Naruto nods his head in agreement. Fear will make you do crazy things, said Naruto. He then sniffs the air and smells a scent coming from the vents. Poison, mumbled Naruto, which causes Hope to gain silver aura around her hands. Suddenly the ceiling vents begins to drip. In a matter of seconds the ceilings melt and causing the ninjas hiding in the vents. Naruto and Hope blast the ninjas with a powerful cosmic blast that had killed the ninjas. Various of smoke pellets hits the ground. The two are then hit from the back as the ninjas had shoot the two from an energy guy, but this didn't appear hurt them. Hope and Naruto blast the ninjas with a powerful blast of cosmic energy. Naruto then extends his hand out. Suddenly fossil claws rise from the ground, trapping the men. Fitting for you bastards to be buried alive, commented Naruto. Suddenly a spear hits him through his hand. He turns to see a ninja with a small harpoon device. Naruto grips the chain and golden lightning flows through arm and electrocutes the man, who screams in pain. He pulls his hand back, causing the man to fly. Today the blonde, the ninja, then throws up blood. He then released a loud gasp and quickly begins to breathe heavily. He looks down and sees a dinosaur claw inside his chest. He then ripped his hand from the man's chest. The man collapsed to the floor. Naruto drops the dripping blood. He then transformed into a stegosaurus and crashes into the door, causing a huge crashing, knocking some of the ninjas to the floor. He then swings his tail, stabbing the ninjas. His tail is then covered in a haze red frosty aura. Say hello to the Ice Age, roared the male mutant as he slashes his tail across the air, causing everything in its path to be covered in an arctic tundra. Naruto is then pierced by several arrows. Naruto turns his head, staring at the ninjas. His body is then electrified by the arrows. Die mutie, yelled a ninja. Naruto scoffed at the human racist much, muttered Naruto. He then launched a lava sphere from his mouth. The lava orb then takes the shape of 3 Chinese dragons. It crashes into the ninjas, instantly killing them where they stood. That then begins walking back. He then quickly creates a large fossil of a mammoth's head that should open them off, said Naruto. He then presses his hand on the skull. Tiny shards of fossilized bones are then launched at the ninja, killing him in the process. Suddenly alarms began to rung through the facility. This building will self-destruct less THS in a minute, stated the facility. Hope quickly sees that the countdown is at 45 seconds. She quickly picks up Anclotrix and walks towards the young male. Party's over now, what? Asked Hope. Naruto doesn't say a word. He simply scooped her up bridal style, and this had caused the red-haired female Summers to blush a bright pink color. She unconsciously tightened her hold around Naruto and burying her head into his chest. Both of them are covered in a golden aura. Naruto quickly takes flight and crashes into each ceiling as he quickly makes his way to the top. Explosions begun to go off, but neither mutants care about. A golden light shots out of the ground. In a matter of seconds the building collapses on itself as the 2 mutants fly back to the ground, and they are met with the X-Men, including one of the powerful mind Charles Xavier. The heroes quickly noticed both Naruto and Hope's clothes are torn and ripped in multiple places. Naruto releases Hope, allowing her to stand. Hope looks at the X-Men with a shameful expression. Charles coughs in his hand, causing the 2 teens to look at the telepath. He noticed the blonde boy is still covered in celestial energy, but he pays no mind to this. Evening, Naruto and Hope, how are you two doing this night? Asked Charles. I am doing fine, Professor, replied Hope. I was doing better, mumbled Naruto, but it was still loud enough for everyone to hear. Hope him in the ribs, but he rolled his eyes. What the hell does he want? Both my parents and I already told Summers no, thought Naruto. I won't force you to do anything, Naruto. We aren't a brotherhood. If you wish not to attend my school, then that is fine. You have every right to decide what's best for you, but let me ask you something. Asked Charles. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. You should know there are others like the Hand who wishes to us mutants into weapons. If the Hand was able to find you, what's stopping more to find you? All I ask is you think about it. If you don't wish to join the X-Men, then that is fine, said Charles. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Street the telepath, trying to find some type of discreet fine, I'll think about it, said Naruto, and doesn't notice Hope's face lighting up with hidden glee. Hope quickly sees the countdown is at 45 seconds. She quickly picks up Anclotrix and walks towards the young male. The party's over now, what? Asked Hope. Naruto doesn't say a word. He simply scooped her up bridal style, and this had caused the red-haired female Summers to blush a bright pink color. She unconsciously tightens her hold around Naruto and burying her head into his chest. Both of them are covered in a golden aura. Naruto quickly takes flight and crashes into each ceiling as he quickly makes his way to the top. Explosions begun to go off, but neither mutants care about. Golden light shots out of the ground. In a matter of seconds the building collapses on itself as the 2 mutants fly back to the ground, and they are met with the X-Men, including one of the powerful minds Charles Xavier. The heroes quickly noticed both Naruto and Hope's clothes are torn and ripped in multiple places. Naruto releases Hope, allowing her to stand. Hope looks at the X-Men with a shameful expression. Charles coughs in his hand, causing the 2 teens to look at the telepath. He noticed the blonde boy is still covered in celestial energy, but he pays no mind to this. Evening, Naruto and Hope, how are you two doing this night? Asked Charles. I am doing fine, Professor, replied Hope. I was doing better, mumbled Naruto, but it was still loud enough for everyone to hear. Hope him in the ribs, but he rolled his eyes. What the hell does he want? Both my parents and I already told Summers no, thought Naruto. I won't force you to do anything, Naruto. We aren't the Brotherhood. If you wish not to attend my school, then that is fine. You have every right to decide what's best for you, but let me ask you something. Asked Charles. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. You should know there are others like the Hand who wishes to us mutants into weapons. If the Hand was able to find you, what's stopping more to find you? All I ask is you think about it. If you don't wish to join the X-Men, then that is fine, said Charles. Naruto narrowed his eyes, stare at the telepath, trying to find some type of discreet fine. I'll think about it, said Naruto, and doesn't notice Hope's face lighting up with hidden glee. Recap end. With his back turned, Naruto takes off to the sky and quickly becomes a fleeting gold. Like many of the X-Men stare at Naruto with awe and amazement. They have found a mutant who has as many powers as the immortal Apocalypse, but he is also living happily with his family. But others such as Emma believe the boy's mother is a little too protective and a bit too aggressive. Charles was amazed at how young Naruto, but he could understand why Naruto would be so hesitated. Since forming the X-Men he was lost so many people. His original X-Men Jean Grey is dead, and Warren, while alive, he has had a hard when he was turned to Archangel. It seems the boy sees the troubles of the lifestyle of an X-Men and superheroes while being gifted than the average human. There are others who will gladly hurt those close to you. No matter how much he would like Naruto to be at his school, this was Naruto's choice and they must respect his choice. He just hoped the Brotherhood or someone like Mr. Sinister won't catch the boy, and knowing the scientists would probably try to create the next powerful mutant. There were also the anti-mutant groups too. Charles then turned towards the furry mutant Hank. What do you think of our young friend? Asked Charles. The large man massages his chin. He is a quite interesting boy. Most would allow that power to change him, but he seems to understand how dangerous the superhero community. I can understand why he is so hesitant, said Beast. After all, the intelligent mutant never like his mutated-like feet, but his hatred for his hand-like feet is the whole reason why he is a blue furry. Charles nods his head in agreement. The boy was smart and he understood just how dangerous the world is, but I fear others will come after him. It is human nature to fear what they don't understand, said Charles. He knew the hateful humans would try to target Naruto, but he also knew the Omega-level mutant would fight the threats head-on. He was the type who didn't allow others to push in corner. Unlike others who were afraid to use his powers, he wasn't afraid of his powers, but he was afraid what the ignorant and hateful humans might do to his family. There has been many cases where parents and families were butchered simply because a member of the family was mutant, which is dumb since anyone can awaken the mutant gene. Beast turns to the professor with a worried look. Should we summon over to protect the family from the more violent humans? Asked Beast, knowing just how evil humanity can be. After all, humanity has created some of the most devastating weapons, and Magneto is a product of humanity's evil nature, and he knew there were more mutants who had become evil due to the cruelty of humans. Charles nods his head. It would seem likely that the more hateful humans would go after Naruto's parents to get to the young Japanese teen. Very well, you do make a good point, Hank. I believe Rachel, Firestar, and Northstar shall be suitable to protect the Uzumaki family, said Charles. Beast nods his head in agreement. That would work with Rachel. She can read the minds from anyone in the neighborhood, and with Firestar and Northstar, if things turns violent, three of them can provide enough power to protect both Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, and if they need to escape, both Firestar and Northstar can help them escape if needed, states Beast. Plus, at least with Rachel, she can erase their minds to escape or have Northstar blind them. Charles smiles at his longtime student. Charles then gains a look of concentration. Rachel, Kyle, Angelica, please comes to my office. I have mission for you, thought Charles. It only took a few moments for the three to appear in front of thanks to his speed it only took Northstar a few seconds. Charles smiles at the three. Thank you for coming here, says the telepath. The gay superhero nods his head and smiles at the man. It is no problem, Professor, says the man. Firestar nods her head. So, what's the mission you have for us? Asked the beautiful redhead woman. Recently, we found a young Omega level who's peacefully living with his family. He and Hope was able to project them from the Hand, but I am sure they won't be the last to try to abduct the young man. I want you three to lay low and protect them who wishes them harm, says Charles. He then uses his power to replay everything that happened. He watches them as each of them look at him in shock. Rachel looks at Charles with a serious look on her face. You can trust us, Professor. We'll protect the Uzumaki family, says Rachel with conviction. This causes Charles to smile, the other to gain the same look of seriousness after each of them experience the loss of family in some form or way. Location: Berkeley, San Francisco. Karen Uzumaki is flipping through various channels of the TV with a bored look until she found a Korean drama called Wedding. Her then rings. She picks it and sees a text from her friend Sakura, who was asking about homework. As she texted back, she then hears a knock on her window, which kind you is a two-story house. She jumps in fright and turns to see her cousin Naruto floating. She then released a deep "Jesus Christ, Naruto. You scared the living shit out of me," exclaimed Karen. She then opens the door. Naruto grins at his cousin Sly. My bad, but I need to talk to you, says Naruto, shocking Karen. She then realized he's serious with how serious he looks. Naruto then begins to explain what happened, even told her about the team up he had with Mutant Messiah, which is by the way the stupidest superhero name ever. After few moments of silence, Karen leans her head against Naruto, who just stares at the TV. So, what now? Asked Karen. Naruto then rubs the back of his head. Well, if I stay I am only endangering mom and dad, but if I leave they'll be safe, said Naruto in a downcast tone. Karen looks sad. She and him have always been chos ever since they were kids. Hey, remember when we would come up with superhero names? Asked Karen. Naruto nods with a chuckle. Remember anything, kid? Laughed Karen, which also caused the mutant Uzumaki to laugh. Kid Infanti. Chuckles Naruto, which caused her to laugh too. Impossible man. Laughed Karen with a chuckle, who laughs too. Naruto then face palms himself. Oh, God. Remember King Omni Triano, kid? Asked Naruto with laugh. She then holds her but laughing her ass off. Ahaha, so, ahaha, stupid. Laughed Karen. After a few minutes she finally stops laughing. So, you gonna leave me alone? Pouts Karen. Naruto rolled his eyes. You have Sakura, Ino, Kin, and not forget Tayuya, said joked Naruto. Yeah, that's true, and having Tayuya around is like having you around without the cussing, joked Karen, causing him to snickered. Yeah, I think I'll miss Sasuke, Gaara, and Haku, said Naruto. He has been friends with them since he was a little kid, but even they don't know he's a mutant. The only ones who know are his family, and fortunately he doesn't have a very big family either. He does have his godfather Jiraiya, his uncle Nagato, his other uncle Yahiko, Konan, and their daughter Akane, who are family friends, and his aunt Fuka. He knew Sasuke won't be too happy about him playing the Bruce Banner move. He has known Sasuke since they were 4, so he was the closest thing to a brother he had. Naruto then turns to the red-haired Uzumaki. Hey, Karen, how about a makeover? Asked Naruto. Karen then smirks at him. The two then head to the bathroom. A few hours later Naruto exits out the bathroom. Naruto had Karen to dye his hair black. He then shaved the sides and slick his chair back. He then puts some makeup on his cheeks to get rid of his whiskered birthmark. He wears black eyeliner under his eyes. He wears brown contact lens. He even had her pierced his septum, his ears along with his left auricle. He wears gold ankh earrings and a black hoop earring. He wears a black G.I.S.M shirt over it. He wears a black jean jacket with various of patches and pins on it. He wears yellow and black plaid pants, and black high-top Doc Marten boots. Naruto then walks in a circular with a glow. He then smirks at her. So, what do you think? Asked Naruto. Karen nods her head. It's a nice look, said Karen. She then tackles him with hug. Naruto hugs her, patting his cousin on the back. I'll miss you, said Karen. Yeah, I'll miss you too, says Naruto in sad tone. After another heartfelt hug Naruto flies back, which doesn't take very long for him to get back home. When Naruto got home he told them everything, and unknown to them the 3 X-Men heard this and was quite shocked. After pulling away a tearful Kushina who refused to let her son go, the 3 of them had one last meal together, which resulted in Kushina feeding her son various of cookies. After dinner Minato helped Naruto pack for his unknown road trip. Kushina then hugged Naruto one more time before giving her son a kiss on the cheek. You'll call us, right? Asked Kushina. Naruto nods his head. You better if you're grounded, said a tear-eyed Kushina. Minato tugs on Kushina, trying to pull her away. If this keeps up Naruto never leave, joked Minato, but this earned him an elbow to the gut, causing the blonde man to buckle over, who groans in pain. He then looks at his son with a saddened look. Take care of yourself, and eat probably, said Minato, who brings his son in for a hug. Naruto hugs his parents with tears rolling down his face. I'll miss you guys, said Naruto in saddened tone. Naruto takes out his hand. Both parents have him their phones too. Naruto's eyes closed. Green. There now, you can call me without worrying about someone listening to our conversation, says Naruto. Thanks to his transcendent machine physiology mutation he remodeled and upgraded their phones. Minato digs into his pocket, pulling out a pair of keys and fairly large stack of cash. He then hands them to Naruto and smiles at his son with pride. Naruto stares at his father in surprised. Flying is nice, but you do plan to lay low, so, here, I was meaning to give it to you anyways, said Minato, handing him the keys to the dark blue 2005 Lincoln LS. The two watch as Naruto slowly gives off, with Kushina holding onto Minato as she cries into his chest. Naruto then sighs at having to leave his family. He didn't want to, but he also didn't want some evil super scientist going after his parents. A road trip sounds good, said Naruto. He also made sure not to tell parents or Karen where he's going. The less they know where he's going is safer. At least for now his plan is to head to Utah and see where it actually takes him. The young Uzumaki, who looks like he's ready for a punk show, turns on the radio. In latest news, the Fantastic Four, with the help of She-Hulk and Spider-Man, had just stopped the newly formed Frightful Five, consisting of Hobgoblin, Wizard, Titania, Beetle, and Titaniu. Okay, that's enough of that, said Naruto. He then turned the station and yells in glee as Bowling for Soup Ohio plays. Both Firestar and Northstar turns towards Rachel. So, what will we do? Should we stay or follow behind him? Asked the pointed war mutant. Stay. Professor told us to protect Naruto's family, so, that's what we'll do, says Rachel. So, what do we do about him? Asked Firestar. I'll send someone to keep an eye on him, says Rachel. She then uses telepathy powers to talk to Hope Summers. Hope, I need you to do a favor for me? Thought Marvel Girl. Sure. What do you need? Asked Hope, who in a coffee shop. Your boyfriend left home and I need you to look out for him, says Rachel. Hope's cheeks turn a pink shade. He's not my boyfriend. Thought Hope. Everyone looks strangely at Hope since the red-haired female suddenly started to blush for no reason. Teaming up with Naruto was fun, and the fact he didn't treat her any different was also nice too. He is pretty cute too when he isn't being rude. Thanks, Hope, thought Rachel, who's thankful for the help of Hope. She also knew she wasn't going to tell Cyclops a great leader he may be, but he definitely wasn't a great family man. Others may say Wolverine is an asshole, but so is Cyclops. Some would even say Cyclops is more of an asshole than Wolverine. Location: Manhattan, New York City. Central Harlem. Within the outskirts of Central Harlem, a large gated building can be seen with numerous of camera. This is one of the many homes owned by the DNA splicer mutant Mr. Sinister. Below the house is his fairly large laboratory where performs many of his experiments. Dr. Nathaniel Essex was a brilliant Victorian-era scientist who was obsessed with deterministic interpretations of natural evolution, predicting the emergence of mutants in the near future. Essex's intellect caught the attention of Apocalypse, a powerful mutant, the very embodiment of Essex's predictions. Apocalypse genetically mutated Essex, transforming him into his first prelate, known as Mr. Sinister. Through the years, Mr. Sinister became one of the greatest geneticists to have ever lived, skilled cloning, creating new life, and even in the manipulation of mutant DNA for enhancing powers, incorporating mutant DNA to his own. Mr. Sinister stares at the TV with a smirk as he watches his spy robots catching footage of Naruto and Hope fighting against the Hand and their reprogrammed sentinels. Exodus narrowed his eyes at the television. He even had his infamous Marauders, which consist of Chimera, Arclight, Scalp Hunter, Lady Mastermind, Omega Sentinel, Harpoon, Frenzy, and Dakin. The black sheep of the Howlett family turns away from the live recording and looks at the genetic-obsessed scientist. Something you like? Asked the son of Wolverine, knowing with the smirk on his face his interest was at its peak. Mr. Sinister chuckles darkly. This mutant is remarkable, and here I thought those with the blood Summers and Gray could only produce the most powerful, but this Uzumaki child far exceeds my expectations and even more. Bring him to me and bring me his parents too. Grins Mr. Sinister with his red eyes glued to the screen. His family? What for? Asked Scalp Hunter with a raised eyebrow, who stopped admiring his marine blade. Did his family abandon them? Asked the pale-skinned mutant. No, said Harpoon, exactly, they still care for their childhood, says Mr. Sinister. Arclight grins to herself and cares for them, says Arclight. Exactly. Grins Mr. Sinister. Finally, at long last, hell have the perfect weapon against Apocalypse, being far stronger than Strife and X-Man. Perhaps this would be far better than failed Madeline Pryor experiment. At least with this boy he doesn't have to worry about the X-Men getting in his way, and even if they do, he has a powerful mutant like Exodus, and having someone like Lady Mastermind who can literally create an illusion so strong it can kill you also helps. Location: Avengers Tower. Captain America, the first Avenger, stares at one of the screens which had just recorded the fight with the Hand thanks to one of Iron Man's many satellites. The proud American soldier turns to Rogue One, the newest recruit. Rogue, what do you think? Anything you can tell about this young man? Asked Captain America. The beautiful Southern Belle turns to Captain America. I think we have a powerful player. I just got down talking to the professor and the kid doesn't like heroes too much, says the powerful mutant. Captain America shot her a look of confusion. He believes being a superhero is dangerous either for yourself or for your family, says Rogue. Captain America couldn't fault the hoping teen for thinking that he had lost many friends during his time as a soldier of the country and being a hero. Tony Starks then comes downstairs drinking coffee. I want to know how the Hand got their hands on a bunch of Sentinels, says Iron Man. Stealing a bunch of Sentinels wasn't their style. I am not sure, this isn't their usual thing. Maybe they're working for someone, says Rogue. Could be, says Iron Man. Agreed. The last thing we need is someone like Apocalypse, A.I.M., or Hydra getting their hands on the child, says Black Panther. Rogue jumps in fright at the silent Wakandian king. Sorry, Rogue, I meant you no harm, says the Wakandian king. Rogue just waves him off. Not to forget about Magneto. Hell, get the kid to join his cause or some anti-mutant get their hands on him, says Rogue. She honestly felt bad for Naruto since she had gone through the same situation as him. The young teen years will be one of the hardest. Each of the three men nods their head. They knew how far the old man would go for mutant right. He's also done some horrible things like when he ripped the adamantium from Wolverine. While Professor X took a more peaceful approach for mutants' rights, Magneto took a more aggressive approach, which at times made him the enemy of the X-Men and other times an enemy of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then we better find him before Magneto or someone worse than him. Rogue can tell us anything about Magneto and Apocalypse. Tony. T'Challa, can you two come up with some device to go up against them and some way to track Naruto Uzumaki? Asked Captain America. The three of them nods their head. The blonde then takes out an Avenger ID card. Captain America to Scarlet Witch. So you read? Asked Captain America. Seeing the Avengers taking a more active role on Mutant brings a smile to her face, and to be fair, she said she would only join if he actually tried to be the hero for the American people and not just humans but for everyone including mutants. The Avengers card begins to glow. Scarlet Witch to Captain America. I hear you loud and clear. What do you need, Cap? Asked Child of Magneto. I think we might need some help, says Captain America. Location. Amenth. Amenth is a black and dangerous world, full of endless hordes of demons and primordial eldritch creatures. The living can only exist in that chaotic hellspace in some form because of annihilation, an elder god with the power to control Amenth's armies. Apocalypse rises to his throne and glances at his new horsemen of pestilence. Orochimaru, a mutant with a rare mutation who change and modify the bodies of oneself and others, generally for enhancing the physical capabilities, alternating appearances and so on. The modifications can grant certain powers and qualities that can reach down to genetic or even subatomic levels. Orochimaru, do you see what I see? Finally I found my new horseman of death. With this boy my ambitions will be realized and this world shall belong to Apocalypse. Exclaimed the giant man with a smirk on his pale skin. Orochimaru grins at Apocalypse, knowing with how powerful this Naruto is hell be drawing in other people. Orochimaru bows to his master with a serpent grin on his face. Of course, master, and this time no mutant, hero, or inhuman shall stand in your way. They beg for Apocalypse and we shall bath in the blood of the weak. Exclaimed the scientist with a dark glee. He wondered if he can discover anything from the boy's parents. Apocalypse grins to himself. This time he shall destroy the weak and only the strong shall remain by his side. Of course, if they don't bow to his ruling, then he'll gladly turn them into example. A world where only the strong lives, a world where the government and its heroes are dead. The horsemen of war and famine walk in the room. Fuka is the horseman of famine who has the unique ability to absorb magic and transferred said magically ability into themselves. And Power Princess is the horseman, the only member who isn't a mutant but she's a powerful utopian who's capable of facing off against people like Hercules, Hulk, and Thor. Power Princess grins at Exodus, and this seems strong. I wonder if he's as strong as Hyperion? Wondered Power Princess. After all, it isn't fun when they die from one punch. The one good things about fighting a mutant is you know never what kind of power they have or how to use said power. Power Princess then turns to the red-haired Japanese woman. Can you find him? Asked Power Princess with a raised eyebrow. Fuka scoffed at the utopian. Can I find him? Please? Of course I can find him. I can find anyone. Exclaimed Fuka. Her hands are then covered in a black ultraviolet magic energy. She then begins to speak in Chinese. Suddenly a purple orb appears and they see Naruto parking at a motel. Found you, my handsome boy, says Fuka, looking at the Uzumaki with lust as she picks her lips. With Naruto, after many hours on the road, he had stopped somewhere in Carson City and found a small motel. Naruto yawns loudly at how tired he today had been. The world's biggest hurricane. I hope they're alright, said Naruto. He then turns himself into a small dinosaur before turning back into his human. He then creates a fossil of a snake's head. He then uses esoteric to cover it in ice. The skull covered in ice shattered, causing the blonde to wipe the frozen debris off of bed. He then rolls to side and picks up a water bottle. As his eyes stares at the television, he also begins to think about the past days. He groans loudly. If only the hand hadn't discovered, maybe he can still be in his room. But here he is far away from home and his life. He really hopes he's doing the right thing. He honestly wishes this whole thing blows over, but knowing him that won't happen anytime soon, he also wonders who did he piss off in another life, or maybe in another timeline where mutants weren't hated. Hell, maybe there's an alternative universe. He lives a normal life without anything insane happening, but he knew the chance of there being an alternate version wasn't unlikely, but meeting that version most definitely. After all, how many versions of Spider-Man did the Spider-Man of their universe come across anyways? The miniature Triceratodon eyes lit up, drawing Naruto's attention. Alert. Mutation detection activated. 2 mutations detected. 1 metahuman detected. Threat level high, says Triceratodon, which causes Naruto's eyes to narrow. He then quickly pockets the tiny Triceratodon. He quickly runs out the room. He's then blown back as the motel was destroyed. Naruto lands roughly on the ground. Son of a fat bitch. Hissed Naruto as a car broke his fall. All around him people were running in fear and panic from the wreckage. A woman all purple steps out the wreckage. 3 male horses then comes flying down. Naruto cursed under his breath as Apocalypse Horseman found him. Naruto removed himself from the car. You're Apocalypse's horseman? Asked Naruto, looking at them with caution. Power Princess nods her head. Naruto looks around waiting for the fourth but didn't see anyone. He also noticed he didn't recognize any of them. He had some. These mutants were powerful. Apocalypse only wants strong heralds and he sometimes or not forces them to serve him. So, where's the fourth? Aren't there supposed to be 4 of you? Questioned Naruto in confusion. He then used his power over technology to control the car he just crashed into. Each of the horsemen jumped down from their mechanical horses. Orochimaru chuckles darkly, which rubbed Naruto the wrong way. Something about the pal man just didn't sit well for him. Maybe it was his golden eyes, or maybe because he was getting Michael Jackson vibes. Orochimaru points his finger at him. We're looking at him. You are the horseman of death, young Naruto. Grins Orochimaru. Naruto watches as Orochimaru's turned serpent like Naruto, then gets disgusted at seeing Orochimaru locked his lips with his very long snake-like tongue. Naruto glances at each member of the horsemen before staring back at Orochimaru. And if I don't agree to be a slave? Asked Naruto. He was already using his powers to take control of the horseman's steed. Orochimaru chuckles to himself, which was a very dark and creepy grin. Kukuku, I am afraid you don't have a choice in the matter. You're coming whether you like it or not. It all depends on you. We can take you peacefully or not so peacefully, says Orochimaru with a look of gleam in his eyes. Naruto sighs at this. Then leave me with no choice, said Naruto. The 2 mechanical steeds then crash into both Orochimaru and Fuka. Naruto hops over the car as it drives toward crashing Power Princess into the destroyed motel. Naruto then transformed into a triceratops and charges at her. Naruto is then lifted in the air. The utopian woman then throws him across the street. Naruto turns back to normal and groans in pain. Power Princess punches her fist in her palm and grins at the young teenager. I was hoping you'd resist. Grins Power Princess. She flies at Naruto, who quickly shots his telekinesis from his eyes, but she blocks it with her transparent shield, which takes the blunt of the attack. She then tosses the shield, which hits him in the face, causing Naruto to be dazed. He then gasps in pain as he's uppercut in the sky by Power Princess. Orochimaru, watching Naruto get flung into air, smirks to himself. He unhinged his jaw and opened his mouth. His normal tongue then morphed into a purple serpent. The serpent wraps itself around Naruto's neck. Orochimaru then slams the Uzumaki into the ground and yanks him back. Orochimaru then covered his left arm in a thick layer of bones, creating a bone-like armor. Naruto then grunts in pain at the punch. His home arm then changes into a metal arm. 2 large arm cannons are fired. Naruto creates a celestial force field protecting him from the missiles. He then sends a powerful good blast at him. He then grunts in pain as Fuka fires magic balls at him. The ground below him is then covered in a magical. Naruto then finds the gravity increased. Naruto struggles as he tries to move. She floats above him and smirks at the young teen with him pinned down. She creates magical spheres. Each of attack bombarded him. She then stops her magic assault. Each of them see Naruto covered in an armor made from fossils. He creates a gun which fires a powerful sonic, causing her to call from the sky. He then summons a large fossil snake. It wraps around her. He then fires from the gun. She's then covered in energy net. Naruto quickly dodges to the side, avoiding Orochimaru, who turned his hand into a lion claw. He punches the man in the gut. He then grabs Orochimaru, tosses him at Power Princess, but Orochimaru, whose body turned into vapor, Naruto blocks her punch with his hand. He then right hook punches her. He then fires a powerful blast at her. His eyes glow gold and fires a wide beam, nailing her in the stomach. Naruto's body is then covered in celestial energy and he glares at the 3 of them. Fuka summons a pink axe which is covered in magic. Orochimaru then changes his body to resemble some offspring of Medusa and a Hydra. And Warrior simply flies at him. He flies at her too. He then covered his body in hellfire, but before the 2 can flash with one another, a golden light is then slammed into the ground with Hope glaring daggers at them. Get the hell away from him, hissed Hope. She then creates 2 giant cybernetic guns. Thanks for watching.